Hi, I think we need to go deep, or we need to go further with this topic with this Ristocetin test. Ristocetin responsible for von Willebrand factor dependent aggregation. So it is a molecule. When you add it to a platelet, if a platelet has von Willebrand factor with the receptor for von Willebrand factor, there will be aggregation. Let's translate this into clinical cases. You have 4 cases. I will describe each cases and you are responsible for telling me the exact diagnosis. For every case, I will add Ristocetin. I will add Ristocetin to this case, 3rd case, and 4th case. Case number 1, you have a glycoprotein 1b receptor and you have von Willebrand factor. When you add Ristocetin to this test, you will have more glycoprotein 1b receptors. And you already have more von Willebrand factors. Okay? So as a result of this, there will be aggregation. This is the rule. This is the rule. It is aggregation dependent by von Willebrand factor. This is Ristocetin. Ristocetin molecule added to platelet. If you have von Willebrand factor, you will have aggregation. Okay. Another example. Here you have 1b receptors. You already had it. And you will add Ristocetin to this molecule. Okay, you will have more and more receptors by adding Ristocetin. But unfortunately, there is a problem with number of von Willebrand factor, which is decrease. And you can tell me, if you have problem with von Willebrand factors, I will not able to have aggregation, and so there is here decrease in what? In aggregation. Okay. Another example, when you add Ristocetin to this test, you have this small receptor. You have several von Willebrand factors. When you add Ristocetin to this test, Ristocetin cannot able to make the receptors because you don't have receptors here. And if you don't have receptors, so von Willebrand factors will not be able to bind to receptors. As a result of this, you will have also aggregation problem. The final example, you have here 1b receptors, but you have small or defective 2b 3a receptors. When you add Ristocetin to this test, or to this case, you will have more and more glycoprotein 1b receptors, and also because you already have von Willebrand factors, so you will not have problems with binding von Willebrand factor to receptors, so the aggregation will be what? Will be normal, like the first case. The 4th case, which is here, you have problems in these types of receptors. So when you will add ADB to this molecule, ADB cannot able to induce expression of 2b3a, because you don't have 2b3a receptors in this case. So if you add ADB to this case, there is a problem with aggregation. But if you add with it is in the same case, if you add ristocetin in the same case, because ristocetin act by von Willebrand factor dependent aggregation, you will have aggregation here. But here you will not be able to have aggregation. Finally, let's talk about the cases. Here is normal. And here you have problem with von Willebrand factor, so it is von Willebrand disease, and you have problem with receptors, so it is Bernard Solier disease, and here you have problem in aggregation if you add ADP, but you don't have problem of aggregation if you add ristocetin. So here you call this disease Klansman disease.